Mathenge Toire jiguaga Maria wikaga Ngai Tore umaitho makwa ni marona Maria we ujikire Nimwagĩrĩru Ngai Andũ nĩmamenye ũguo Tigatiga gũkũgoca Ngai Ndĩciũngano-inĩ ciothe Waigire tukimathie Uthamaki no thigu Thĩthĩno na twakinya gwaku igũrũ Ũgatũgaĩra muoyo Nimwagĩrĩru Ngai Andũ nĩmamenye ũguo Tigatiga
Thanks so very much, our sister Salome, for your sweet song. God bless you and do you good. Hope you're well wherever you are. Yes, this is once again Matalo TV coming to you live from our studios. It's my hope and trust that the Lord has kept you well. Yes, it feels good to be back on air. And I believe wherever you are tuned in, you are eagerly waiting for that which you are about to release from Matalo TV. And I want to make this promise to all of us that we will not let you down, will not disappoint you, but will give you the best. And so make Matalo your TV. And please encourage many to join Matalo TV. To those of you that are following us through Facebook, please continue encouraging your friends to continue joining Matalo TV. Like and follow Matalo TV, and above all, share our page to as many people as possible. Please also, them that are joining us through YouTube, continue subscribing and also encouraging many to subscribe, because we need all of us on board. Yes, them that are following us through Twitter and Instagram, just do the same. And the Lord will bless you, not forgetting the majority that are following us through TikTok. Please continue liking our page, sharing our page, and above all, encourage many to follow Matalo TV. Be reminded that it is only in Matalo TV where we educate people for free. It is only in Matalo TV where we give people full baked cake, and so you cannot have you cannot afford to miss this. Please join Matalo TV and you'll never be frustrated. And before we get started on a topic of the day, conquering common mistakes in life, yes, we are going to have a series of teachings on the same. Before we get started, I just want to give us some space to prepare, such that we may look for a good notebook and a pen from where I meant to write our notes. And so allow me to switch to the other side of the studio and bring to us this other number. Thanks so very much, our sister Eriza, for your sweet song. God bless you and do you good. Yes, today, as I've just promised, that you're going to start on a very new thing altogether, that is conquering common mistakes in life, and we are going to single out today time management. Yes, you can bear me witness that we don't have the luxury of time on our side. Time is so scarce, but not every one of us understands so. To those of us that just live recklessly, time is so much that they cannot even contain. They have a lot of time with them, but it is not so with the busy and the people who are out to achieve something in life. When you start to becoming busy and when you start to plan for your time, that's the moment you realize that we serve a scarcity of time, or in other words, time is so scarce. And that's why I want to introduce us to this topic of the day, time management, in order that we may be able to plan ahead of time, and in order that we may be able to utilize our time to the maximum. Yes, this is just the beginning of the new year, and we need to prepare ourselves ahead of time. We need to budget for our time. We need to plan for our time, lest we get wasted along the way, or lest we waste our time along the way. Now, this is how I'm going to begin as I approach the topic of the day, that it is not so much the hours that tell as the way we use them. Yes, allow me just to repeat myself, that it is not so much the hours that tell as the way we use them. Now, you'll agree with me that all of us share the 24 hours of the day, but not many of us make profit out of the same, or make anything good out of the same. As much as we share, all of us, 24 hours, the rich and the poor, the educated and the illiterate, all of us share the same equal time, that 24 hours of the day. But you will bear with me that not many of us are able to achieve through the same time that we all share. A majority of us just wake up and spend their time anyhow, and they lose their time and they make nothing through that time. Others just make very little with the time that God has given unto them. They just make very little out of life, and others make a lot through the same. And we need to now to ask ourselves the right question: why is it that some make use of the time and make profit out of the same, while others just walk around and misuse their time? We need to dig to understand the difference here. And this is one thing that we need to understand, that time is irreversible and time is irrepressible. So as we get to tackle the difference between those who achieve through time and those who fail through time, we must get first and foremost to understand that time is irreversible and time is irrepressible. So to those of us who are daydreamers and to those of us who just assume that things just happen, you must get to understand that that time wasted will never be recovered. You cannot reverse time. You cannot replace time with anything. So what was supposed to happen this day, or what you are supposed to do this day, and you postponed that for another day, let me tell you, there will never come another day like today. So if this day is wasted, it will be wasted forever, and it will never be recovered. The time therein in that day, if wasted and not well managed, it will be wasted and will never be recovered forever and ever. And so we are saying, having such a knowledge, we now need to conduct ourselves in the right way, such that we may be able to manage our time properly. So it is important that we understand that we don't have the luxury of time on our side, but we must compete with time if we must achieve anything in life, or if we must build ourselves to becoming better people in the near future. So get to understand that if time is irreversible and time cannot be replaced, what must we do for us to be able to benefit from the same? Now we must get to understand that we cannot do all things at the same time, but we must understand that there is a time for everything under the sun. And I would like us to borrow something from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 3 and verses chapter number 3 and verses 2. The Bible says there is a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal. And the list goes on and on and on. So that one tells us, or help us to understand that there is a set time for everything that you want to do under the sun. And so if you don't know how to plan for your time, you get to misuse your time and you get to waste your life for no good reason. Now, and that's why we say that when we waste our time, we waste our lives. Listen to that. When we waste our time, we waste our lives. And be reminded, I started by saying that we are going to venture into a new topic altogether, a topic that we are calling conquering common mistakes in life. And this is one of the areas where we make a lot of mistakes, because so many people do not understand that time wasted is life wasted. Yes, time wasted is life wasted, and we'll come to that. And that's why I've just borrowed from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 3 verse 2 down 3 there, where the Bible reminds us that there is a time to be born and a time to die. So you must understand that when you're born, you don't remain there. You must work out something before your time to die comes. Yes, you must also understand that when you plant, you must also understand there is also a time to uproot. So we don't do all things at the same time, but we plan for the time, and we do, and we allow ourselves to do something that will benefit us in the near future. So time is one of the most important gifts that God has given to mankind. Now, after we have discovered that it is important to know how best to use our time, because if we waste our time, we waste our lives. Now we get to understand that time is one of the most important gifts that God has given to mankind. Be reminded that the people you see around and the different way of life that these people do spend or have in their own individual lives, or is determined by how best or how not best they know how to use their time. Now, let me just repeat myself there. The difference you see around with the people, all such is only but determined by how best or how not best we know how to use our time. If we don't know how best to use our time, we'll know how best to waste our time. And so the difference will always create whether we like it or not. We may be born in the same family, but we are not achievers in the same levels. Why? Because sometimes we don't know how best to utilize our time. And listen to this, how best you use your time will tell us how best your life will be in the near future. And how best you know how to waste your time will also tell us how worst your life will be in the near future. And so we must treat a time with a lot of respect. We must honor time at all times, because it is one of the very special gift, very important gift that God has given to human being or to men and women. So if any one of us didn't realize that time is very important and it's a special gift given to all men by God, such people will live confused, such people will live recklessly, and such people will always be daydreamers, but they'll never achieve anything in life. So from today, if we can pause a little bit, we need to insert this information in every mind to understand that time is not just time. It is a special gift, a very important gift given to men by God. And my question to all of us, what are you doing with this gift? As a young man, what are you doing with this gift? As an old man, what are you doing with this gift? As a person who is employed, what are you doing with this gift? As a farmer, what are you doing with this gift? All of us, even to them that are in school, we must pause a little bit and ask ourselves, what are we doing with this special and very important gift that God has given to mankind? Before I get continued, allow me to switch to the other side of the studio and bring to us this other number. Thanks so very much, our brother Karwege, for your sweet song. God bless you. I want to bring to our attention that time is the carrier of life, and indeed it is life itself. Time is the carrier of life, and indeed it is life itself. And that's why when sometimes we go to eulogize some people who have passed on, there are such statements that will be made after we listen to the eulogy. These are some of the last statements that you'll ever hear, that this is time well spent. Yes, why do we talk of time about the dead? Because it is when we die when people are able to tell whether we misused our time or we managed our time. And that's why I'm saying that time is the carrier of life, and indeed it is life itself. So it is important that I remind all of us who are living, who are alive, that if we waste our time, if we misuse our time, we will misuse our lives. And there'll come a day when all of us will sleep in that sleep that will never wake up again. Or in other words, there'll come a time when all of us will pass away. And when we pass away, that is when people will be able to judge us. And we cannot hide. This time when we are alive and kicking, we can dodge and hide. But when you slip into the dead, when you pass on, time it will be so merciless. Time will expose who you have been. Time will expose what you've been doing. Time will tell it all. And people will get to understand whether you were an achiever in the world or a failure in the world. Those two things will be seen with naked eyes when you pass on. These are two things that you cannot hide from people. Whether you are an achiever or a failure, when that time comes, when your time erupts, when your time is over on the surface of the earth, the judgment will come. Now everybody will be able to tell whether you died an achiever or you died a failure. And I think it is high time that we fight to leave behind a good legacy. It is time that we make up our mind that our eulogy will not be read and people get into shock having known that you achieved nothing. It is time that we make up our mind to become the best out of this gift that God has granted to all of us. Yes, be reminded, the billionaires that you see around only spend their 24 hours, just the same way a poor person spent their 12 hours. But the difference comes in on how we spend our time. If we don't spend our time wisely, our lives will be wasted. But if we spend our time wisely, our lives will be better off, and our lives will be built well, such that everybody would desire to emulate them that uses their time in the right way. So having said that, we must now get to understand that time, like a precious treasure, should be guarded and managed, and as above all accounted for. Yes, time like a precious treasure. And you understand how we take care of treasures. Treasure is not something that you joke around. Treasure is not something that you just donate to people. You keep it to yourself. You die with your treasure. Yes, you protect your treasure. You can pay any cost for your treasure. Yes. Now, and time is likened to the treasure. Now, time, like a precious treasure, should be guarded. Number one, if you know the value of time, you should be so selfish with your time. You should guard your time, and you should not allow any intruder to come and mess up with your time. You must be very mean with your time. And I want to ask all of us to understand this, that it is so dangerous. But you must understand this, that it is so dangerous when you don't know how to guard your time, when you don't know how to protect your time. You are treading on a very slippery ground, on a very dangerous ground, because once you lose time, you lose your life. Once you lose time, you lose everything about you. So everything about our lives rotate on time. And so if we are not going to protect or to guard our time, then intruders will mess up with us, and our lives will be terribly messed up. And that's why I'm urging all of us, because the year is still very young, that from this moment, if you misused your time last year, this year, make the right resolution, make the right decision not to misuse your time and not to allow people to misuse your time, but guard your time in the right way possible. Yes, having guarded your time is not just enough, but you must also go ahead to manage that time. Remember, everything that is well managed brings forth some good yields, brings forth some good result. So if time is not going to be managed, we are not going to expect any good result. We are not going to expect any growth. We are not going to expect any good any success in life. So time management is also very important, that we know how best to manage the time that is now guarded. After you guard your time, don't die there, but move an extra mile now to manage that time and to make use of it, such that you may become successful, such that you may prosper in some areas of your life, and also such that you may be able to build yourself in the right way possible. And that's why in every good company that will grow and influence people, that will grow and touch the lives of people and many people, there must come some good managers in such companies. Also learn to understand that from today, if you're not going to train yourself to become a true manager of your time, your company will fail, and you'll fail with that company. In other words, your life will fail and you will fail with that life. That is exactly what I'm communicating to all of us. And so any idle person who is listening to me, who is watching to me, let me tell you, you are joking with a weapon that can kill you anytime, anywhere. So don't joke around with it. Time. Don't kill yourself before your time comes. So don't just mishandle time. Don't just live recklessly. From today, decide that you're going to manage your time and you're not going to allow intruders to mess up with your time. And as you manage your time properly, I want to assure you, you are not wasting yourself, but you are building yourself up, and you are going to become successful some days. So success does not just sprout from this ground and start to grow now. Success is a process. Before you become successful, you'll have gone through bits of successes until you qualify to become successful. So you better understand that time management is of essence here. Time management is very important here. And not only time management. We must now move from managing of our time, because we know after we manage, something good will happen. But we must also understand that time that is not accounted for will go into waste. So we must account for our time. We must always evaluate our time. We must always monitor and do some evaluation every single day and ask ourselves, what have I been able to achieve this day? What good plan did I fulfill this day? Or what plan did I make this day that will change my tomorrow to become a better tomorrow? So we must account for every time that comes our way. And this is very important to every one of us. To the students, it is very important. To the workers, it's very important. To the farmers, it's very important. To the politicians, this touches every human being, no matter what capacity or what level or what possession you hold. Time touches all of us. The preacher who is watching at me, listen to this. You don't have all the time with you. Plan your time properly and make use of that time for your better tomorrow. And so it is important that we understand that time is irreversible and time is irreplaceable. You cannot reverse time, neither can you replace time. So if you're wasting your time, you're wasting your life. But if you're redeeming your time, you're making better your life. And some days your legacy will be emulated by many. So fight to leave behind a strong legacy where generations will keep to tell the other generations about a man who lived on the surface of the earth and made some difference. Before I get continued, allow me to switch to the other side of the studio and bring to us this other number.
Goinere, Dokandie, Goinere, Yendoka, Wosokiangado, Dokaku, Yandewega, Yendoka, Goinere, Dokandie, Goinere, Yendoka, Wosokiangado, Dokaku, Yandewega, Yendoka, Yengwampararie, Dokandie, Gwambararie.
Thanks also very much, Sister Anne, for your seed song. God bless you and do you good. Now, I want to sum it up there by saying these words. The time well accounted for is a life well spent. Yes, time well accounted for is a life well spent. So if you don't know how to account for your time, you will misuse your life and you will destroy your life. I have seen people in the streets who are senior bachelors. They had time to marry and start children, but they misused their time. They never accounted for their time. Today they are senior bachelors who are just waiting to die, having achieved nothing. I have seen people having all the opportunity with them, but they misuse their opportunities and they turn to be beggars all over, causing trouble and pain in the lives of others. Be reminded, how you account for your time talks volume about how you spend your life. So it is important that we get that. Now, how are we going to, to account for this time? I want to give us some leads on how to account for our time and how to make use of our time. But having said that, I must also give some caution here, because many of us people spend our time each day aimlessly, without direction, without goals or purpose. Yes, as much as I'm going to give us these leads on how to account for our time and to make use of our time, I must also caution people not to live their lives aimlessly, without a direction, without a goal, or without a purpose. So if you must account for your time, and if you must make use and wise use of your time, you must have some direction. You bear me witness that there are so many people that are without direction in life. Ask them, where are you headed? They also don't know. What is your purpose in life? They don't know. What goals do you have for the new year? They don't know nothing about the goals. Listen to this. If you must become a wise person of whom you're going to know how best to account for your time, number one, you must have some direction. You must know where you're coming from and where you're headed. Number two, you must set some goals to help you reach your target or to help you reach your destination. Because without some set goals, you tire along the way. You quit the journey along the way. So you need to have some set goals such that as you know the direction you're taking, you also be able to have the right steps that will lead you into where you want to be. Now, why are we doing all this? Because we want to achieve something in life and we want to spend our lives in the best way possible. Number three, you must be a man or a woman of purpose. You must dig to know what your purpose is. You must search to or to understand what your purpose is on the surface of the earth. Yes, my purpose is not your purpose. My purpose, maybe it's not my children's purpose, and it's for sure it is not their purpose. My purpose is different from their purpose. Listen to this. Everyone that you see around who God created has a purpose in their lives. God planted in them a purpose. But so many of us are so lazy to dig to understand our purposes. None of us that you see around roaming about that is without a purpose. But the problem is a very few people take time to search to understand their purposes. A majority of us follow after others. A majority of us copy from others. We don't want to get tired searching to understand our purposes. We don't want to we don't want to suffer trying to understand our purposes. We don't want to pay the price to understand our purposes. We want just to joyride. We want to only to hang on other people's purposes. Listen to this and listen carefully. You must from today determine to search to understand the purpose as to why God created you. Don't allow yourself to be carried by every other person that comes around. Don't allow yourself to hang on other people's purposes, but discover your purpose and make use of your time to build your purpose and to make better your purpose. Polish that purpose. Work it out until everybody, when they look around, they are not they are not confused of who you are. They are able to tell from afar the kind of man, the kind of woman you are. So that is very important also. So we must always, I know this is a hard topic sometimes because it requires a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of research. You have also to search to understand yourself better. Now listen to this. So many people do not even attempt to control their own lives or plan the way they should live their own lives. That is another problem, that so many people do not even attempt to control their lives. They wait for others to suggest to them. They wait for us to control their lives. They wait for others to make decisions for them. From today, please wake up from your slumber and start to control your life. Don't allow your life to control you, but learn to control your life. And as you learn to control your life, also learn to plan for your life. Otherwise, if you don't know how to control your life, others will control your life. If you don't know how to plan for your life, others will plan for you. So, but you must also be very wise. If you are employed, please don't go controlling your boss. You'll be sacked. Don't go controlling, your senior. You lose that job. I'm saying, as much as you are employed, start to understand how best to improve yourself and how to control your life. Because you're not employed 24/7. You have some free time with you. What are you going to do with your free time? As you serve, your boss, when you have your free time, what are you doing with your free time? If you are in business, please, what are you doing with your time as a business person? If you are a farmer, what are you doing with your time as a farmer? If you are in school, what are you doing with your time as a student? So these are some of the tough questions that we need to ask ourselves. So we must learn to control our lives, and we must also learn to plan for the same if we must become people and people, and people of influence in the society or in the nation. So these are some of the things that we need to understand about time management. Remember, I'm talking about conquering common mistakes in life. And these are some of grievous mistakes that we make. Sometimes we don't see the danger of misusing time, but once we pass on, that is the time your picture will be portrayed, will be manifested to all, and it will not be covered. Everybody will know the kind of person you've been in this life. So try and do that little thing that you're doing, but grow that little thing to becoming a big thing. So start small and grow to be big. So we must understand all this. And so because I don't want to give us so much until we vomit, and I've just started, I want to promise all of us that we'll have a series of teachings about conquering common mistakes in life. And I know you're going to enjoy this as you rectify your mistakes, as you recover from your own failures, and as you get started into the right direction. I wish you all the best, and may God's blessings locate you, and may God give you what it takes to manage that time that you have, such that you may not die a failure but die an achiever. God be with you. Let's switch to the other side of the studio and bring to us this other number.